Good morning. It's day 6 of week 9 of Urban Agoge. And I massively failed to do the circuit training yesterday. So, what I'm going to do is have to do it tomorrow, because today I'm of extremely limited time. It's about 8 o'clock and I have to be out of the house by 11. So I want to record this and get it uploaded so there's something to watch. And yeah, it seems to be that I have a complete failure of stuff on Fridays, my day off, apart from getting a video done, getting that uploaded, various computer tinkering. And the river's dropped down quite considerably. That's a little causeway now. And get wet boots going across that bit. So yeah, it's all about your resistance. And yeah, I sort of got up late, did the recording late yesterday. Filmed a goodly bit. I mean, I was out in the woods for about an hour and a half, all told. And yeah, it was okay. So today's a very long day at work. Especially if you include the commute, so I'll be out the house at least 12 hours. So yeah, but I am committed to doing certain stuff. So today, when I get back and I've sorted the rendering, I'm going to try and have a power hour, as discussed yesterday. And tomorrow I've got a lot more time. So we'll see. What I might do is combine the run I don't need to do with circuit training, do the run, go for a walk in the woods, and then do the circuit training, and then put the run and the circuit training together. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this gimbal. And I like the rig where I've got the sound bars on the Eversteer voice recorder, which has done a weird thing. I keep noticing weird things about eBay pricing, and suddenly it's up to around £100, and there's no way it's worth that. It's quite a good voice recorder for the 30 quid I got it for. So I spent yesterday clearing off hard drive space. So that's pretty cool. And getting that sorted, which is always handy. I'll go down to the riverside. It makes for more cinematicness. Yeah. So I did some things, just not nearly as enough. And I pretty much went to bed at about 6 o'clock in the evening, intending to have a nap, but then waking up at 11. So that was that. Yeah. Let's give you a nice pan of the river. You know, it's not like a river's an unusual thing, but then again, and everybody's got one near them, but you know, if you've got a nice bit of countryside with you, get out in it. It's nice. Worth doing. So yeah, I haven't got long before I've got to skedaddle to work today. And now we can do this and it doesn't look terrible. Let's do a stabilised wander through the woods. Because normally you just see my face and me looking weird and clambering. But one of the great things about the gimbal is I can just get on with clambering, even though it's slightly easier because it's not as muddy today. We might actually be in for a summer. So yeah. So today when I get back, I'm going to attempt an hour of power. Or maybe, if given that I won't be doing the exercise until tomorrow. I don't know though. What if I did do some sit-ups? That would involve filming it, honestly. So I'll do an hour of power off screen and I'll see how it goes. And then I'll try and do an hour of power on screen. I think that's a good idea. I'm going to try and get that done. Because I'm really big on doing this whole, thing where you're looking after future you in a very real way, so that you can free up future you for doing the next stage. See, that looks really like a really steep waterfall. It isn't. But if you ever find anything like that, and you've got evidence of small fish lower down the river, like I have, when I was originally testing the action camera just after I'd moved here last year, I filmed some fishes underwater. I don't know, is there a spot over here? Can one? Let's do something super dangerous. Okay. Is there a way? Maybe later on in the summer I can get down here. And it looks like there is. You look down there. Looks like you can sort of get on the path there. If I get down to there, or along there, maybe it's worth putting the action camera in, seeing if I can see some big trout. There's nothing more annoying than fishing when you don't know whether there are indeed fish in the water that you're in. So yeah, this is going to be a short one. I'm trying to keep it under half an hour. Yeah, that path down there, which I can see but you can't because we're on a fairly wide view. The settings on this camera. If in doubt, reboot. Set it all back to default and pick the version of recording that you want. So yeah. But I'm getting there. Had the Firefly for a little while now, for about 2 weeks. I've had the gimbal for about a week. So yes. Let's get it. So yes. So the camera does not want to, this camera doesn't want to attach as a webcam at all. It doesn't want to attach as an HDMI cam. The HDMI is really ropey. And I don't think I've owned it long enough to start hacking the firmware. So I don't want to do that. So there's a few purchases I want to make for this whole urban agoge, because I'm in this place where I'm trying to, this sounds very grand, change the available philosophy to humans. Right. So the current philosophy is go to school, you know, complete however much school it is that you're qualified for or the government will pay you for, maybe, except that now everybody can go to university, which devalues the concept of a university degree, unless you're learning about how to do something you're actually interested in, which is something I'd always recommend. Essentially, a degree's a degree these days in the UK, and it might well be the same. And that's not too handy. I want to go like more the other way. I want to go like, and then it's kind of like, is it? So get your degree, get a job, raise a family, and then hopefully, as far as the government's concerned, if it's paying your pension or your pension fund is concerned, which is all the same thing, the people with money would like you to die as quickly as possible. I might have to live with that. So yeah, and now it's getting tangled up with all the wires and things. Hold on a sec. That's as far as that will go. Bring that round. We're getting a nice view of the woodland anyway. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to leave that in. Eventually there will be none of this. I will know instinctively how to sort out all this stuff. Oh, this is just slightly too steep if it's mud, but I'm glad I'm not wearing trainers. Don't wear trainers into the woods. It's stupid. I've done it, I know. So yeah, so that's your path mapped. Have children to become future taxpayers, earn as much money as possible, pay a load of tax, and then before you can really enjoy the fruits of your labour while you're old, die ASAP. So what I want is people to live like a shitload longer. Now we know, now you can get food from pretty much all over the world, and we know how vitamins work, and we know how to live a healthy life, but we've always known, because the super wealthy have always done that. Now I want to move into the whole means of production thing. As far as hacking goes, you know, as I like hacking stuff. I mean, I don't get into the sort of like, you know, crazy code hacking, you know, because I just don't know enough about it. I suppose I could learn. I mean, I used to be able to program computers, and I have programmed them before, but I'm more your definite goal at the end in mind type person. So, with that in mind, and given how cheap they're getting, I plan to buy a 3D printer. Because basically, if I can get a 3D printer working, anybody can. I'm a very simple creature, you know. I'm not Superman. I'm not super intelligent. Just average guy, so I'm like the perfect person to test one of these things on. So, the idea is to buy a 3D printer. The other purchase is next month. got a few. I don't know whether I'll be able to buy all of them, but I think this camera and gimbal combination would be much better served if I had a really good remote for it. Now, unfortunately, they ain't no such animal, but, and here's the but, my phone is only Android 6 because it was cheap, and I want to experiment with a super cheap Android 8 phone which should interact with the gimbal and the camera, not at the same time but alternately. So, but the cheapest Chinese Android 8 phone is about 30 quid. So I plan to buy one of these things, not put anything on it, you know, no apps, start deleting all the optional apps, not use it as a phone as such, but to use it as the remote for the camera and the gimbal. Now it's a 30 quid gamble, it could be terrible. It might not even be Android 8, but we shall see. The other thing is getting a really, really good microphone, and that will be next month's Patreon money. And if you want to help out on Patreon, there's a link down below. But the Patreon money comes to about 20 quid, which is the cost of probably one of the best microphones you can buy this side of a couple of £100, called the Purple Panda. And those are available for about 20 quid. So that's what I'll be spending my Patreon money on this month, because that usually comes to about 20 quid. So, but that comes with a zillion little accessories, which should be much more in the filmmaker sort of category. You can literally it includes the connectors to plug this into, you know, the mic into almost anything. A mobile phone, this camera, you can plug it in with the adapter. They give you all the adapters and a nice long extension cable, so I'll have about 6 meters of cable, which would be great. Plus it'll plug into almost anything, which is also good. So yeah, so 3D printer, mobile phone to act as a remote for this whole rig, and a new microphone. Mostly because the microphone cable for this is a bit short, and I like having the audio recorder plugged in because it's cool. I like to be able to see that the sound's going through. So the microphone's plugged into the audio recorder, and the headphone jack from the audio recorder is plugged into the camera. Neat, huh? And if I wanted to get all super technical, it could be even better. So yeah, so that's the next few weeks planned. So yeah, so it's going to be a couple of weeks before I order the 3D printer, and that will come as a kit, which is its own set of challenges, but it doesn't look like it's too hard to put together. So yeah, a couple of 100 bolts, and then the endless frustration of owning a 3D printer. But these things are about 80 quid, and that's just too affordable. So if you can get a cheap 3D printer for that kind of money, you know, maybe there needs to be a series for people that are on the same sort of income as me. You know, if you're working and you're on a pretty much a minimum wage job, which a lot of jobs are, you know, if your job is sub £20,000, which would be about sub $25,000 a year, you're essentially on minimum wage. It's just that you're given a salary and you don't clock in. So if you're at that kind of price point, you are the majority of people in the Western world. So why people don't make TV programs about technology for people like that? It's all like, oh well, yes, this costs £500, it's a very good investment. Bollocks. Whew. The odds are, unless you're extremely nerdy, that, you know, if you can afford the latest tech, you're not really going to use it like one of us would, one of your working class. I mean, that's an idea almost for a completely new channel, you know, working class tech. Where, I don't know, probably be once a month, or once every couple of weeks, like a tech review for something that people can actually afford. How about that? Okay, so that's where I'm going to leave it there. I've been out here for half an hour. I don't know what the time is, but I've got to get back and get this edited so you can watch it today. So, thanks for watching. Do take care.